the Kaaba, the house of God, the holiest and most sacred site in all of Islam. Why?
People around the world were shocked when Jesus told them who was inside the Kaaba. Have you ever thought about what secrets one of the world's holiest places might hold? The Kaaba is the holiest place in Islam. It is a cube-shaped building in the center courtyard of the Masjid al-Haram, which is also known as the Grand Mosque in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. It is important because it is the center of Islamic worship and the direction of prayer, or Qibla. The Kaaba has been the subject of many tales, mysteries, and stories over the years, which have only added to its mysterious air. One of these stories is about a spirit that is said to be held back inside the Kaaba. But is this true? This video will tell you the shocking discoveries that come with revealing the real identity of the thing that is being held back in the Kaaba. You probably know this big black structure, but have you ever wondered who is inside? It will shock you regardless what your belief may be. Several Islamic books like the Quran and the Hadith collections tell the story of how Prophet Ibrahim built the Kaaba. These sources say that Allah told Ibrahim to build a holy place where people could honor the one true God. Ibrahim was told to get the building supplies and help his son, Prophet Ismail, build the Kaaba. Allah told them to build the building in a certain spot in the city of Mecca. This spot is called the Sacred House. Making use of the materials and tools they had on hand, they started building the Kaaba together. There was a door on the eastern side of the building, which was made with a wooden frame and a black cloth curtain. By the time of Muhammad, however, Arabs who were not Muslim had taken over the Kaaba and used it to house their many clan gods. Before taking over as rulers of Mecca in 630 AD, Muhammad and his followers had been persecuted for years.
Muhammad and his followers suffered persecution, so he and a few of his followers fled to Medina.
Muhammad got rid of the idols that were inside the Kaaba and made it a place to worship only one God again. After taking over Mecca, Prophet Muhammad made the Kaaba the Qibla, which is the place that Muslims pray. Muslims used to pray facing Jerusalem before this, but after Allah gave him a message, Prophet Muhammad changed the direction of prayer so that it faced the Kaaba. This change was a sign of how Muslims are united and how they are connected to the place where Islam began. Did you know the Kaaba has changed from locations during time? You'll probably wonder where it's all been. We reveal this also in this video. Do you know it has been? Let's continue and find out. After Muhammad's death, the Kaaba was broken several times. Each time it was fixed, it looked different. In 1629, for example, heavy floods destroyed the foundations and meant that the whole building had to be rebuilt. Since then, the Kaaba hasn't changed, but details about the past aren't clear, so it's hard to say how much the current structure looks like the Kaaba from Muhammad's time. Strong gold was added to the Kaaba's door in 1982, and a black silk cloth called the kiswa covers it. There are words from the Quran in Arabic written on this cloth with golden thread. On the second day of Hajj, the yearly Islamic journey, the kiswa is changed out every year. There is a secret in the Kaaba that might surprise you. People have been interested in the black stone, which is at the center of the Kaaba, for a very long time.
In the eastern corner of the shrine is perhaps the most sacred stone in all the world, the Black Stone of Mecca.
Its past is unknown, and many people have different ideas about what the stone could be.
It is said to have fallen from heaven.
Lots of Muslims think the stone is really a meteorite with magical powers. Some writers have compared this idea about the black stone to the rock that was put in the Greek temple of Artemis and worshipped there. People respected the black stone long before Islam. It had been linked to the Kaaba for a long time since it was built before Islam. It was also a place of pilgrimage for the Nabateans, who went there once a year as part of their journey. The Kaaba held 360 statues of the gods of the Mecca. People also think that Ibrahim and Ismail put the holy black stone in one of the sides of the Kaaba. Muslims worship the stone as a lesson of how important it is to be united and obedient to the one true God.
The black stone is therefore one of the focal points of the Hajj ceremony.
When Muslims make their once-in-a-lifetime trip to the Kaaba, they have to try to kiss the black stone if they can. They think that the Prophet Muhammad do so. They try to touch it, but if they can't, they just point to it every time they go around the Kaaba 7 times. The visitors say a prayer from the Quran every time they walk by the black stone. They say it in the name of God, who is the most important thing. Non-Muslims are not allowed to touch it at all, and the Kaaba is usually wrapped in a black cloth. People often say that the stone is a broken-up dark rock that is about 2 feet, 0.61 meters long. Did you know that the Kaaba is changing position because everybody is walking in the same direction around it? We will also show you what troubles this can cause in the future of this holy ground. And why is it black? There is some thought that the reason its surface is black is because it has been touched a lot and is being treated with oils. Muslim legend says that the stone was white at first, but turned black after taking on all of humanity's sins. The Swiss traveler Johann Ludwig Burckhardt first wrote about the black stone in Western literature in the 1800s. He visited Mecca in 1814 and wrote a thorough account of it in his 1829 book, Travels in Arabia. It's an irregular circular shape, about 7 inches across, and the surface is made up of about a dozen smaller stones of different sizes and shapes that are well joined together with a small amount of cement. It's perfectly smooth. It looks like a hard blow broke the whole thing into many bits, which were then put back together. The Islamic prophet Muhammad is said to have set the stone in place in its entirety into the wall of the Kaaba in the year 605 AD.
In 605, the prophet Muhammad himself is the one that places that stone in its place. That's part of what gives it power.
Muslims also think that the stone in the Kaaba used to be one of the stones in heaven.
Muslims believe that this was sent down by God to earth.
It is said to have fallen from heaven.
There are different versions of how it came to be, but they are all pretty much the same. Adam was full of sin when he was sent out of the Garden of Eden. He was given the black stone to wash away his sin and let him back into heaven. Some people think that the Archangel Gabriel brought the old stone from a nearby mountain. There is a lot of damage to the stone that has happened over time. It is said that a stone shot from a catapult hit it and broke it into pieces during the Umayyad siege of Mecca in 683 AD.
The war between Ibn Zubayr and al-Hajjaj took place for 6 months and 17 nights in the hollow of Mecca. Yusuf ibn Mahak said, "I saw the manjanik with which stones were being hurled. The sky was thundering and lightning, and the sound of the thunder and lightning rose above that of the stones, so that it masked it."
There is another story that the black stone was once an angel that God put in the Garden of Eden to watch over Adam. The angel wasn't there when Adam ate the fruit that was supposed to be avoided. As a punishment, he was turned into the black stone, a fine gem. God gave it speech and put it on top of Abu Qubais, a mountain in the historical region of Khorasan. He then moved the mountain to Mecca. It was Ibrahim who took the black stone from Abu Qubais to build the Kaaba. The mountain asked Ibrahim to pray to God that the stone would stay in Mecca instead of going back to Khorasan. Some scholars say that the black stone was the same stone that Islamic legend says greeted Muhammad before he became a prophet. This caused a discussion about whether the black stone's greeting was real speech or just a sound, and then about whether the stone was a live thing or an inanimate object. No matter what happened, the stone was seen as a sign of a prophet. They took it back to their base in Hajar, which is now Bahrain, in 930 AD. They were a small Shiite group called the Karmatians. Ottoman scholar Qutb al-Din said that Abu Tahir al-Karmati, the leader of the Karmatian people, put the black stone in his own mosque to take the Hajj away from Mecca. This didn't work because visitors kept praying at the spot where the black stone had been. In the end, the pieces were given back. There are even stories about people who were killed while trying to touch the stone. In the 1100s, a man is said to have tried to break it but was killed right there, doing only minor damage to the stone. Johann Ludwig Burckhardt, a Swiss traveler, said that someone spread poop on the black stone in 1674 so that anyone who kissed it would leave with a dirty beard. People thought the Persians were to blame, and Muslims cursed the Persians for hundreds of years afterward. People have had different ideas and opinions about the black stone in the Kaaba throughout history. One of the most interesting things about the stone is the thought that it holds a spirit or being, which is sometimes called a jinn. Islamic legend says that jinn are supernatural beings that were made from fire that doesn't give off smoke. In many ways, they are like people, and they can do both good and bad things. The black stone and its mysterious presence are the subject of many stories and tales. In one of these stories, a strong jinn named Al-Aswad was caught and locked up inside the stone. Some people think that the jinn is locked up because it disobeyed Allah, while others think that it was caught and put in the stone as punishment for its bad behavior. Another way to look at the black stone's mystery presence is that it holds the spirit of a prophet, maybe Idris or Enoch, who was turned into a stone as a reward for being good and devoted to Allah. The fact that the black stone is sometimes called Hajar al-Aswad, or the stone of blackness, which could mean either the stone of the prophet or the stone of the servant, backs up this idea. Today, the stone is still broken up into several pieces. There are probably between 7 and 15 bits left. A silver frame holds these together, and silver nails hold the frame to the stone. Since scientists aren't allowed to look at the stone, all that can be done is guess what it might be. People have thought that the stone could be an alien device or a rock made of basalt, agate, or obsidian. One idea is that the stone is an asteroid that the Arabs worshipped before they became Muslims. Ritter von Loren, the Austrian consul general in Egypt, was able to look at a piece of the stone that Muhammad Ali had taken out in 1817. He said it was completely black on the outside and finely grained silver gray on the inside, with tiny bottle green cubes set in it. The face of the stone is said to have a few white or yellow spots, but the stone is officially labeled as white except for the face. One important tip about what it is comes from a story about how the stone was found 21 years after it had been stolen. A historian said that the stone was recognized by its ability to move on water. It seems unlikely that the black stone is made of agate, basalt lava, or a stony meteorite based on this story. However, it is possible that it is made of glass or pumice. Modern science methods have never been used to look at the black stone, and people are still guessing where it came from.